Hey there guys, it's Angela with Word and Home. Happy Thursday. Come on in and say hello. We are going to do some crafting together today. And if you don't see the red live button appear, then you're catching me on replay. So just make sure you put hashtag replay in the comments. And just let me know where you're watching from. Drop any questions that you might have. And after the video, I'll try to answer those if you're watching on the replay. And for right now, if you're hopping on, just tell me something good about your day or tell me where you're watching from. Let me know if you're new, because we always like to welcome our new friends. So just come on in while I get everything set up, and then we're going to get started with some crafting. Hi, Rhea. Happy Thursday. Okay. So I told you guys, I think this morning in my post, that I think we're going to stick with some snowman decor today, because I think, what did I say? There were like only 10 Fridays left before Christmas. So that kind of blows my mind. It's going to be here before we know it, because, hi Elizabeth from Kentucky. Hi Christy. Because, you know, once Halloween is gone, it seems like it's just poof and it's just gone. So I am going to be working on a snowman project 2 different ways today, and I want to show you guys. I'm excited about this one. I have seen it done before. I've seen some of these on sites like Pinterest, and they're super cute. So thank you. My husband got this for me. Super cute. Super cute. And really neat. I mean, I like more than 3 people, but it's pretty close, pretty on spot. So let me show you what we're using. I have a package of these that's not open yet. So if you want to do this craft, either one of these, you're going to need a package of, this is just a plastic ornament, and it's 4.75 inches. And you can get these at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section. And these are 50% off right now. So this ornament was marked $2.49. So that made it about $1.25. Okay, so, and you can get 2 projects like I'm making today out of 1 package. So you're definitely going to need these. You love snowman. I do too. I'm a huge snowman person. I've got so many of them. And then I use gingerbread in my kitchen at Christmas. So I know, Rhea, and I haven't started my Christmas shopping. I'll just be honest, I am not like an early shopper. If I get things early, like I take that back. I bought 1 thing for Christmas so far, but I'm not super duper early. So, but I need to be. And I want to be early and one of those people that's done with their Christmas shopping by like November. I want to, but I just don't ever, I've not managed to make that goal yet. Okay, let me see. I saw Rhea, you asked something. It says, I like murder shows, comfy clothes, and maybe 3 people. And I said, I probably like more than 3 people, but I get what they're saying. But I do love murder mysteries. Those are my jam. Hi, Carol. Okay, so you need 1 pack of these. And then you're going to need something for these, like these snow pebbles. I bought 2 sizes because I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to use. I think I'm probably going to use the larger ones. But these are $1.99 and these are $1.99, and they're 50% off. So they're $1 for each of these packages, and they both came from Hobby Lobby. These are, I don't know, they don't give a size on here. But anyway, these are the larger, and then these are the smaller, okay? So you can use either which one of these. Maybe after, thanks Rhea, maybe after the project, after I'm done with it, you'll have a better idea of what you would like. Elizabeth said it's a gorgeous day. It's in Kentucky. It's pretty here in Oklahoma too. It's still pretty warm. My watch says 82, so probably 85-ish. So I still have to walk today, and I haven't done that. So, but it's still been pretty warm here. But I'm still loving the sunshine. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna need that, and then let me show you the two things. First off, we're going to be putting one of these on an ornament, just a wood ornament. You can buy these if you can find this size, or I also have these in my store, and if you guys are interested in that later, I'll share that link with you. But we'll be using one of these, and then we'll be using one of these. And this is from the Dollar Tree. And gosh, I don't know. I think I bought it last year. And I'm going to use this for the project and this. So two different ways. But if you can't find one of these, you could use a different surface for this. But this one's nice and thick, and it will set up for us. Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to do, I think we'll do this first. Okay. I'm moving fast. I'm sorry, you guys. I get so excited. Thank you for sharing, Elizabeth. Oh, you had Grandparents' Day at your grandson's school and the weather. Oh, awesome, Christy. Sounds like you're having a really good day. So, here are both of my halves that came from my kit, okay? And, you know, if you popped them together, they're going to look like this. But we're using the halves separately. So, this had some glitter on it. And so I just took a sanding block and I sanded as much of that glitter as I could off of there. But what we're going to do is I want a darker background. So I just traced this on a piece of black cardstock. And I'm just going to adhere this black cardstock to the surface of this, okay? Hi, Sharon, just like this. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to do that Mod Podge method in the iron, and I'll show you that. Okay, so let's brush our Mod Podge on here. And I sanded that glitter off as good as I could, and I'm hoping that does not prevent my cardstock from adhering, but I don't think it will. I've done this before, and I think it will. Oh, he's your youngest, and he's in the 4th grade. How fun! 4th grade is so fun. I taught when I have a teaching degree, so I taught before I had my kiddos. Well, actually after I was pregnant with my son when I decided to stay home. Hi, Sharon. And I taught middle school kids, which I loved. But I always thought, and I talked to a lot of other teacher friends. Okay, we're just going to brush our Mod Podge on here while I talk. And I talked to a lot of my teacher friends, and I really think that 3rd and 4th grade, I just love that age. I just think they're, not that they're not sweet, but you know what I mean. You've had kids, and grandkids, you know. It's like they still, at least when I was teaching, you didn't have some of the issues. You know, they were just, they still, you know, they still liked their teacher and just, I don't know. There's just something really sweet about that age. And I loved my middle schoolers, my older kids too. But that 3rd and 4th grade, it's like it's the sweet spot, and they'll still hug you, you know, and love on you. And they're not too cool yet when they get, you know, they get older and they go through those stages of kind of, you know, exerting their independence and stuff. Okay, so I got a thin layer of that. You can kind of see that sheen there. I'm going to go ahead and dry this down, because I'm going to iron this on here so it will adhere well. Okay. We're just going to, you can let this dry naturally if you want to. It'll dry in a few minutes, but I just always add a little bit of heat to it. Hi, Patricia. Just to make it just a little faster because I get impatient. And this way, if your Mod Podge is dry, when you lay your piece on top of it to make sure that it's in the right position, it doesn't stick, okay? And this is just a little bit bigger, which is fine. I prefer that because it's a little bit bigger, and so once I get this ironed on there and adhered, I can go around the back. As you can see right here, and that excess, I can just sand off of there. Yes, Rhea, they are. They're just so dang sweet. Okay, so we're just going to use our little mini iron. You can use a regular iron. I just keep this one in my craft area. If you have a larger iron, you can use that. Just, you know, you don't want your heat to be too high, so just make sure your heat's turned down low. Okay. Sorry, my dog is under my feet. There was like we have a rock quarry, I mean, it's a ways from our house, but they blast like once a day. And today it was pretty loud, and it scared her. And so she was in my husband's lap upstairs. He's working, and she jumped in his lap. And then I went up there, and she came back down with me, and now she's like under my feet. If you have little dogs, you understand. She does not like big, loud noises like that. He's in the 6th grade. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Christy. I know, you know that they go through that stage. So, okay. And then, because I always forget to have my, whoo, that's steaming pretty good. Let's turn it down a little bit too warm. I always forget to have my parchment paper in here. So I found these at Dollar Tree, and it's 100 sheets, and it's perfect for little projects like this. And so I just keep it in here so I don't have to run back and forth to the kitchen to get the big roll of parchment paper. Okay, so this is nice and warm, so I'm just going to run it over the top, and I'm going to get those edges really well because I don't want those edges popping up. Okay, so just kind of hit those hard on there. And as you're doing this, if for some reason you have a spot that, you know, wants to pop back up, you can add more Mod Podge and push it back down and start over. Okay, I feel like we have good, have it down nice and smooth. And if you've never seen me do this before, or other creators, all it does, that heat from that iron, is just reactivating that Mod Podge. That's all it's doing. I know, Rhea, aren't they cool? I love those little parchment sheets. When I let me set this over here so I don't burn myself. When I saw these at Dollar Tree, I thought that's a really good idea. Okay. Okay. I've got a little file here. And I may need something bigger for this. Okay, let me get my big block. This is, usually I can use that, but this job may be a little bit too big for that. Okay, see that excess falling there? And that's just the excess that I'm just getting off there. Okay. No, I haven't, Dana. I went into one Dollar General yesterday. We have a bunch here in Oklahoma. They're like on every corner. But I didn't see, they had some Santa stuff, but I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and check it out and see if I can. I like to shop for Christmas things at Dollar General. So if you, Dana's right, if you have a Dollar General near you, don't overlook it. And sometimes you can find things there that you can't find anywhere else. Because Hobby Lobby's already getting picked over, y'all. Or maybe not. Maybe picked over is too strong of a word, but people are shopping. They're buying lots of Christmas stuff. I was in there today, and there were a lot of people shopping for Christmas. Okay, still have some pieces on here. I had a lot more overlap than I thought. I didn't think I was going to have that much overlap. Okay, there's a couple more little spots right here. Now we're going to go back to this smaller one for these smaller kind of grooves. I'm making, look at that mess I'm making. This cardstock's a little thicker. Okay. Good grief. I think I finally got it all off there. Okay. So now I've got all that on there. All my excess is off. Now we're going to clean up some of our mess. Okay, that'll help a little bit. Oh, a snow with a mason jar ring. That's cool. It must be a theme today. We must have all been thinking the same thing, Rhea. Okay, I have some black around the edge here, but I'll just have to try to clean that off later. If I have like a wipe or something, I'll get that off, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So this is how this is going to work. We're just going to I'm going to put my snowman on there, and then we're going to put the globe on top of it, and this will set up nicely because I don't think it'll be too heavy. And I think it should set up fine on your shelf. So that's the idea. And we're going to put a snowman on there. Oh, I know, Dana. I've already, I bought some things from my Texas house too. That's probably my favorite line from Walmart right now. Okay, now we're going to do like I said, we're going to put the snowman in here, and I've got to kind of put just a little pencil line here so I can kind of see where my snowman's face needs to be. Okay, so I put a little pencil there. And I'm going to just paint a circle on there. Hi, Kathy. But we're not going to, I'm just going to make it maybe a little bit smaller. I'm trying to think of something I could use for a circle. I don't know if I want to do that. Okay, because he's going to be looking up. You can make his little face as big as you want. I'm going to I've just traced this just to give me a ballpark of where to paint his face or his head. His head, and he's going to be looking up. Remember last week we did the snowman, we did these guys, and they were looking up, and I just love that. So that's how we're going to do him. And this is just Waverly Snow White chalk paint. And you could use any paint that you want. I'm just going to try to follow that little circle as best I can. But, you know, it doesn't have to be. I always tell you guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. So don't stress out too much about it. Okay. So we're just going to keep painting. We're going to paint that, fill that in. Did you get the snow? This is from Hobby Lobby. The snow pieces that I showed you, it's all from Hobby Lobby. Okay. I'm just going to keep filling this in until we get it to... Now, if you don't want to use paper on this, I could have sprayed it black. You could use, you know, just spray black spray paint on it. I think that probably would have covered that image. So that's an option too. If you don't want to put the paper on there. Okay. So we've got his face, or not his face, but his head. His head is on there, okay? Oh, awesome! And gingerbread ornaments. Jackie, this piece was a Dollar Tree piece that I picked up. I think I got it last year. So, and it was just a little snow, was supposed to look like a snow globe. And then we're going to be doing something with some ornaments too. And I have those ornaments on my Shopify, but you can also probably find those other places too. Okay, sorry, I'm going to scoot my dog over a little bit. She's like laying right on my feet. I'm trying to decide if I need to dry that down anymore and paint it some more, but I think it's going to be okay. We're just going to go with it. Let's put the nose on first. This one's pretty simple. We're just putting a simple little face on him. And this is ripe apricot, but I didn't mean to grab this one. I meant to get the pumpkin. Okay, so you can use any kind of orange that you want, okay? This one's just called pumpkin. Okay, now, what I like to do on my little noses is I'll use my Dollar Tree stylus, okay? And I like to just usually make like a little dot just to start, or kind of like that. And then I just kind of start pulling the paint up. With my stylus. Okay, so that it's going to be his nose, and looks a little off center. We may have to fix that, but that's how I do my noses. Really, really simple. And then once you get it started like that, sometimes I'll take a paintbrush and finish it out. because sometimes it's easier just to do a little paintbrush. If you can find your paintbrush that you want to use. Okay. So we've got his little nose on there. Now we're not going to see his eyes, and so we're just going to put a mouth on there. And again, I'll go back and use my stylus, and we'll just put his little mouth on there, and I'm going to use the bigger end. And I always start and put one dot right underneath the nose, just like that. Okay, and then one on either side, and then do a pair on the sides. This little stylus really does make it a lot easier. Okay, so that's all to his face. That's all we're going to do because he's looking up. And so that's all we're going to see on that. Okay. He's not completely centered, but I don't know if I need to kind of like maybe extend his face over here just a little bit. Hi, Diane. Thank you for sprinkling, friend. Okay. Let me try to add just a little bit more to his little head. Okay. That'll help. Okay, so that will dry down just a bit. And then what we'll do is this is gonna sit right on top, and I can show you. And we're gonna glue that. Okay, it's gonna look like that, but we're gonna put some snow in here too. And it's just gonna kind of fall right here at the bottom. And this will be the only tricky part, is getting that in there and getting this glued on, in my opinion. Ah, thanks, Janet. He's super, oh, I didn't add snow, sorry, I forgot. We're gonna use our Dollar Tree stylus again, and we're just gonna put some snow around him like he's looking up at the snow. I mean, good grief, I'm glad I didn't glue that on there. Would have had a snowman on there with no snow. And I'm just gonna do little dots, excuse me, here and there. I'm almost out of this white paint, so I'm gonna have to get some more. And I think I say this just about every time, because this is probably one of the most asked about tools that I use, is this little Dollar Tree stylus. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a Dollar Tree, or I can't ever find them at my Dollar Tree. Amazon has these, and you might have to buy like a pack of 2 or something, but you can get them on Amazon. So and they'll deliver right to your door. And this is my most used tool of anything that I have in my craft section. And I'm not exaggerating. And if you watch me on a regular basis, you know that's true. Okay, so see that? We'll put some bigger flakes on there now. And I use this in my pre-made videos, that, you know, the quick videos that I share with you guys. I use it constantly. And it was $1.25. But I would pay more. Definitely pay more for this tool because it's a game changer. Okay. Okie doke. I think that's good. Okay. So now he's looking up at the snow falling. Okay. I'm glad that I did not forget to do that. That would have been a big boo-boo. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, both Karens. Thank you, guys. They do come in handy. I mean, I'm serious. It's of all the tools that I have. Okay, I'm going to kind of try to clean this off because I've handled it and I've got some smudges on it. And it's going to be glued down, so I want to get it as clean as possible. Of course, there shouldn't be anything on the inside, really. If there's any smudges, they're probably just on the outside. Okay. So what I think maybe the easiest thing might be to do is to add a little bead of hot glue down at the bottom and drop these in it. Some of them. Thanks, Cheryl. I do too. I love some snowmen. Okay. I don't need that. Let's just add maybe just a little bit of hot glue here. I don't want too much because I'm going to leave some of it loose. But I did want a few pieces, you know, like okay. So I got a few on there. Now let's see. And then I'm going to push this up right here. Okay, so maybe I can glue the bottom. Thanks, y'all, for being patient with me. I've never done one like this, so I'm not sure of the best way to do this. So I'm just going to try to put a little bead right here. And then maybe up the sides. And get this on here before it dries. and then maybe the top, then I can just kind of pop it up. And put those in there. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Okay, now we're gonna put some more in there, obviously. And I can pull it up just a little bit, I think, and kind of drop some of this in there, hopefully. Let's kind of, let me hold it in my lap and kind of drop these down here. I'm just kind of squeezing them in there a little bit. Oh no, that one's stuck on my, that one's stuck on my nose. You can't have that. These tweezers are another good addition. Okay. I'm gonna have to be a little more careful though about that because my paint's not completely dry. Okay, so we've got it in there. We're gonna put a few more pieces in there. Let me fix something. We may have to let this paint dry down for a little bit. Oh, hi, Carrie. Thank you. Yeah, they do, Rhea. They fly everywhere. I'm going to, before I put any more of this in here, I am going to let this paint dry. Because if I don't, that orange is going to get everywhere. Okay. So I'm going to let that, so before you try to do this at home, don't rush it like me and let your snowman's paint dry, okay? So we're going to come back to this. The top of it's not glued. So we're going to come back to it in a minute and we'll put more snow in here, okay? So we're going to set that there. And then we will move on to this other way to use these. But these tweezers that I have, these came from Amazon too, and these are handy. But not as handy as my little Dollar Tree stylus. Karen, who asked that? Karen, they still craft. I think she's talking about like Labrisca, My Eclectic Treasures, and they still craft. Labrisca does for sure, and Hildy does. So they all still craft. You're probably just not getting the notifications. Thank you, Debbie. Hi, June. Thank you. So we're coming back to that. So don't go anywhere. We're going to finish that guy in a minute. But we're going to do this one too. And this is an ornament, a wood ornament. And I have these, I said earlier, but some of you guys weren't on, so I'll tell you again. I have a set of 4 of these in the shop. And if you're interested in these, I can share a link for these. Just let me know. Or you could probably find ornaments, maybe in Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they have any this big. Hi, Lori. But I cut these especially to fit these. Okay, so this will fit just perfectly on here. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this black. This is just a different way to do it. That first one that I did will be a shelf sitter. And this one you can actually hang on your tree or hang it anywhere that you want. Okay. And I'm just using some acrylic paint on this guy. And sometimes I just use a makeup sponge to do these, but you could use a regular paintbrush. I pre-sanded it with my sanding block earlier, and that does help. I feel like they get a smoother paint finish if you just run that sanding block over the wood piece a time or two. And I'm just going to paint the whole thing black. think I'm even going to paint the little hook on top. Can you hear my dog snoring? Okay, so gotta get some paint on there and then we'll dry it down. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so we'll dry this. Hey, there's Yvonne with the Southern Designs and Finds. Hi, friend. You like the ornament? I do too, Rhea. And I mean, and this could be, you could personalize this too, which I say that about a lot of things I do, but this could be personalized for your kids, for your grandkids if you wanted to. Okay. So I've got it painted black. And we're just going to do this basically the same thing. And again, our little globe, our little plastic globe, and it's just going to fit. It's going to fit just right on top. Just like that, okay? But we're going to paint another white circle for our snowman head. Gotta get my paintbrush cleaned. I can't decide which one I like better. I do like the, I don't know, I like the ornament, but then I also like that other one. I'm just going to try to do a freehand circle here. So we'll see how it goes. You can make his head as big as you want it. And again, it's not going to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, when you make a snowman outside in the snow, they're not perfect. Okay. That's about where I want it. Okay. So you're just going to paint it towards the bottom, just like that. Wonder if you made a funnel out of paper. Yeah, Maria, that might work. That's just the trickiest part, and I didn't think about that when I thought, well, well, let's make these. I didn't think about how getting your snow in there is going to be tricky, but we'll figure it out. Even if I just have to stick it in there one little snow piece at a time, we'll get it. Okay. Okay, let's smooth out these edges right here. And then we'll dry. I'm going to do better this time. I'm going to add some heat and dry that nose and mouth before I try to put my snow in there. But so if you buy one pack of these, you can get 2 projects out of it. So whether you want to do 2 ornaments, 2 of the shelf sitters, you know, whatever you want to do, you can get 2. For $1.25, that's pretty good, I think. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit more black paint because or a little bit more white paint. It didn't cover quite as good as I wanted it to. And this paint is a little watered down because I didn't realize that, or I forgot that I was almost out of it. So, and it was kind of thick, so I had to water it down. And I really needed the white, not plaster or, you know, some of the other colors that I could have used that I have. I needed the white for this. Okay. Okay. That's good. So, same process. Let's kind of line this up a little bit, and then we'll start with that nose. It sure does, Rhea. I love this chalk paint. It's my favorite, but yeah, as you start to run low on it, it does get thick. Okay. Okay, so a little dot right there in the center. And just pull that nose right up there. Okay. Okay, got a little nose on there. I'll go back with a paintbrush and kind of finish that out a little bit. And then we're just going to use our black paint. Let's go a little bit more. Got a little mouth on there. Okay. Just like that. We have a snowman. Okay. There's his little nose and his mouth. Now I'm going to take, with these, it's hard, I guess I could use a smaller end, but sometimes it's kind of hard to pull that snowman nose out to a thin tip. So sometimes I use just the smaller end of this, and that helps. Okay. Okay, so we should be done with snowman faces. Let's put our white dots on there, and then we'll hit it with heat again. Okay, I won't make that mistake again. We'll hit it with heat and dry it down, and then we'll attempt to put our snow in here too. Okay, and I always just like to start, when I do these little snow pieces, I always just like to start with the small end, and I just do little, just like my little snow pieces falling. There's really no wrong way to do it. dog is she's having a good nap, y'all. She's in her happy place. Let's add just a bit more. Okay. So there's all of our snow. Yeah, yeah. She's a spoiled napping pup. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. This was my splurge to myself. My Pioneer Woman chair from Walmart. Okay, so there's our snow falling. Okay. It's very comfortable. It's very comfortable to sit in, so I really like it. Okay. Now we're gonna dry down. Yeah, it's winter. She's snoring. She is sacked out underneath my feet. And even if you didn't even put the plastic dome on top like we're gonna do, these would be really cute. Simple. You could do it really. Yeah, it is, Yvonne. You could do these really quickly with a craft with your kiddos. But I think putting the plastic dome on top is going to be really cute. Okay, now I have another idea. So on this one, what if and maybe we'll try the smaller. I'm going to have snow everywhere, I can already tell. What if we use the smaller snow like this on this one? And I think that will help. Or maybe, I don't know. Because this one's still not dry and I'm very frustrated with myself. Because that paint's pretty thick in there, but. Okay, so let's just put, it's going to be all down here around the bottom down here. And so this is just a craft glue. So, you know, it's not like it's not like the hot glue. It gives me a little bit of time to work. So what if we tried that? And see if it'll just kind of sit on there. I need like a bowl or a plate or something. So I've already got them everywhere. Okay, so we're just gonna drop those on there. These like explode when you open them. Literally. Okay. And I think somebody said earlier, it might have been Rhea, said there's like static, and they do, and they just stick to everything. Got one on my face. Okay. That could be on my bloopers reel. I've got them like stuck to my leg. In my chair. They're everywhere. Okay. Did y'all see that when I opened it? How they just went poof everywhere? So let's just kind of stick those on there and then see if they'll kind of gather right there. I think they will. Let's put a few more over here. Okay. Oh, I think that's gonna work. Okay. So see how those are kind of gathered at the bottom and don't want any stain. Maybe put them into the plastic. Might not dry with no air. Well, I think I feel like maybe it's getting enough air in there. I don't know. We'll see. I probably should have used the smaller ones. I would recommend these smaller ones, you guys, the smaller beads. I think they're going to work better. Okay. So that's in there. Now, let's kind of clean this off from my fingertips. And I'm just going to kind of lay this on here for a second. And okay, so you can, I'm going to hold it up here so you can see kind of what it's going to look like. Okay, so you've got your snow in there. And I'm going to put just a smidge of hot glue on the bottom right here. Just to hold this in place. I'm going to get this on here just how I want it. And that'll hold it in place on the bottom. And then we can put some more in there. Okay. Now, let's see if I can gather some of these up and put these in my hands and put them in there. This might be worse than glitter, or as bad as glitter maybe, because they do stick to you. Okay. Okay. I think we need just a little bit more than that. I think a funnel might work. This is like glitter to me. It is like glitter. Could you just see, could you see Mr. Wardenholm in here? He would be like, ah. I thought I had a spoon. If I had like a plastic spoon. Here we go. Let's try this. Let's try a spoon and see if we can, let's see how that'll work. See if we can get some in there like that. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I think that's enough in there, okay? So you've got, I spooned some of it in there. Maybe just a little bit more. Okay. put snow in the snow globe, and that's a good idea. Now you're cooking. Yeah, now I got it. That's a good idea, Yvonne. So you're saying you just put the snow in this and put it upside down and then glued it on there. I think that's how I'm understanding what you're saying. And I think that would be a lot easier. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to try to put a little more glue around here. On this side to kind of hold it. You could use craft glue too, but you're just gonna, if you're using your craft glue, you're just gonna, you know, you're gonna have to let it sit. It's gonna have to set up. So that's the only thing with that. Okay. And then I'm just gonna put just a little bit over here. I think that's gonna be cute. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna put like a little bow on the top of this guy and let it hang down. You could do a tag if you wanted to. I like what Yvonne said though. I do like that. Just putting your snow in here and then putting that on top and gluing it. That would be better. I think much easier, I'm sure. Okay, so I have just some, you can use any kind of ribbon that you want for this. You could put a hanger on the top. Put some jute on there. I think this will fit. We'll just put our little hanger in there first. This might be too big, but it's okay if it is because I've got some smaller right here. I always like to put this in there first because I don't want to cover it up with my bow and then have to try to figure out how to get it in there. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's just tie just a simple little bow for the top and kind of let it hang down on the side. And I'm just tying just a simple, doesn't have to be, I mean, you could do any kind of bow you want for this. Just keeping it simple. Okay, that's gonna be cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna put just a little dab of hot glue right here. Try not to get it on the hanger. And we'll just hold that right there. You could use any color of ribbon that you want. How sweet is that? Got our little snowman looking up. Make my hot glue on here. Hold this down for just a minute, but this one's cute. I think it turned out cute. I think on this other one, I just put a little bit of hot glue on there. So I'm wondering if I could pull that loose and do what Yvonne said. I love that. That's really cute, you guys. Okay, so that's the ornament. Now, back to this guy. There's just a little bit of hot glue on there, but let's heat it up. Let's heat it up and see if I can just pull it off. Okay, perfect. Now, I decided that I don't like these guys as much. Okay, I like the smaller ones. And so we're gonna fill that with the smaller ones, and I'm gonna dry my paint real fast so that they're not sticking in it. Okay. Now, what Yvonne said, okay, so let's put our glue on here. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill this first. Okay. So I just put a little bit of that in there. I hope it's enough. We'll see. Thanks, Carol. And yeah, Rhea, you do have to be careful not to melt it. I just heated it up just enough to soften that hot glue again so that I can pull that off there without tearing my paper. And so I think it'll be good now. So I'm going to put like a thin layer of hot glue around this. Just around it, so. Okay. And then I'm gonna put my heat on it just to warm it up. And now we're gonna pop this on here. She said she just lays it down like that. Okay. And we're gonna try really hard to get that centered. That's gonna be the hardest part. Okay. And that worked. Thank you, Yvonne. That was a big help. And I think I got just enough snow in there. Okay. Okay, that was easier. That was easier. See, y'all, what would I do without you? Some good tips. Okay, so there's your snow in there. I thought this would set up, but I don't think it's going to set up. I think it's a little bit too much weight on it. So we'll have to figure out, maybe put a block or something, glue like a, like a tumbling block or something to the back of it to get it to set up. But I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm just going to put a bow on the top of this one. And I like the smaller snow better, you guys. I did cut out a little cardstock tag that just says "Let It Snow." And I think we'll put that on the bottom. And I'm just going to glue that on there. But I'm going to have to trim just a little bit more of this off. Okay, we'll use some of our craft glue. And get our little tag centered on there. Okay, so it just says "Let It Snow." You could stamp on there or do anything for that little tag. Okay, and then for this one, whoops, got stuff falling. I just have a black and white, and we're going to put that on there. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Just tie it. And a few of my little snow pieces did stick onto the back, but I think on this piece it looks good. It looks like the falling snow that I added with the paint, so I think it looks kind of cool. Okay, got our simple little bow. And we'll just glue this to the top, just like we did that one. We'll just put this right here. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Siobhan. Thank you for your tip. I'd still be trying to get that snow in there. And it'd be sticking to everything. That was a big help. Okay. I almost feel like this bow is too big, but I really like this stripe. If I can just get it to sit on there right. Okay, we're gonna try. We're just gonna glue this to the top right here. Glue it right to the top. And I don't think I have any tumbling blocks in here. But what I think I'm going to do to get this to stand up or to sit up and not fall over is I'm going to try to hot glue a line of tumbling blocks across the back of it to help. That's right. We have to help each other out. And sometimes when you're on here and you're doing a live, at least me, I can't speak for everybody, but your mind just goes blank. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. That's pretty cute. That turned out pretty darn cute. You can see my ring reflection in there. But I love I love the black and white. You could do, you could do red, like I did on the ornament. So you could do either way. I think they both turned out really, really sweet. And this one will look good sitting on a shelf when I support the back of it. Yeah, live brain. Exactly, Yvonne. That's exactly what it's called. And I'll lose something and won't be able to find anything. And when I get off my live, it's like right here on my desk. That's what I was trying to say, but it didn't come across correctly. Thank you, guys. Okay, so there's your ornament. And then this one, it will be a shelf setter. Because like I said, I'm going to find my my tumbling blocks, and I know they're in this tub right here, and I'm just going to glue probably 2 across the back, and I think that'll give us enough support for it to set up. But I'll share a picture with you. Thanks, Rhea. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. So these are our 2 little snowmen, snow globes. So if you just hopped on, make sure you watch from the beginning. Oh, thank you for the hearts, you guys. Thank you, Nancy. Watch from the beginning, and you'll see, and you can even see my exploding snow, which learn from my mistakes. Be careful with your snow. So everything is from Hobby Lobby. These are from Hobby Lobby. And the snow that I used, this little package, was from Hobby Lobby, and it was like $1. It's all 50% off right now. So, and then just to add, this snow globe wood piece or MDF piece is from Dollar Tree last year. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a good weekend and stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.